Let's get right into NFL. What do we got going on this week?
Well, let's just touch right off the bat. Let's focus on the highlights from this past week. And we'll talk about a few scores, the important ones. We don't have enough time to get through everything. Number 1, Dolphins 31, Jags 13. That was a big win for the Dolphins there. 49ers Giants. The 49ers win 36-9. Rams versus the Bills. That's 32 Rams, Bills 35. Bengals Eagles, the first tie of the season, 23-23. Packers 37 against the Saints 30. Chiefs 34, Ravens 20. We're going to talk about that. And the Cowboys 31, Seahawks 38.
Yeah, lots of big games there. Really consequential. And so we got a few head turners for this week.
Mm-hmm.
These are games that, caught our attention because just like sort of a shocking result.
Yeah.
Starting off with the Dolphins against the Jags.
Yeah.
Why is this one so it just feels like it shouldn't have been that big of a gap.
Yeah. You look at the Dolphins coming off of last season. They're like a 4 and, they have 4 wins or something like that last season, all of last season. Jags, who also weren't particularly good, but you're not expecting a blowout kind of, game like that necessarily.
Right.
And the Dolphins came in, marched into Jacksonville and punched them up a little bit, 31-13.
Yeah, last year it was the whole tank for Tua thing, and the Dolphins a lot of people expected them to get the number 1 overall pick. They ended up actually finishing, not the worst. I think they were 3rd or 4th at least.
Something like that.
And so maybe they traded down to ended up, or something like that. They ended up getting Tua. They're not starting him, but there is an energy about the Dolphins that's, hey, we're a little bit better this season. And the Jags, they're only 2 seasons removed from that AFC Championship game.
That's true.
But they've kind of crumbled. They've lost that defensive edge.
Yeah, the defensive edge was the big one.
They're not they don't have a quarterback that's going to get you results.
Minshew right now, I think.
Yeah, so they're putting things together, but Dolphins, impressive.
Yeah, they got Fitzmagic. I don't, I'll say this real quick. I don't know why they're not starting Tua. I kind of think that they probably should have. You went all that way to get him, and I know that maybe you do a little here and there to see who's starter.
If you don't think he's ready, you don't think he's ready.
Yep.
It's that simple.
That's the reality.
Fitzpatrick has a lot of experience, and this could be a bridge year. Who knows what can happen? I mean, this is a season where, they're in the same division as the Patriots. The Patriots, who used to win year in, year out, aren't the same team, you could argue, without Brady. And so what can happen there? Is the division open for the taking? Who knows?
Potentially.
But the next head-turner game is the Bengals and Eagles.
Yeah, so the reason why this one is just straight up because of the tie.
Yeah,
those aren't all the time. Although there was one last year too, maybe even a couple last year. So it's kind of weird.
There's always a couple.
But it's the Bengals.
That's right.
The Eagles hosting the Bengals. The Eagles are in the NFC. Is it East? I'm sorry. The Eagles are in the NFC East. For whatever reason, the NFC East cannot pull together a win. I'm sorry, but it's just a weird looking conference.
Bad this year,
right
now.
Yeah, a division, I should say. And so the Eagles needed a win here to just sit on top with two. I think they have 1 win right now. They're 1-2 right now after or one. I should say, they have 1 draw, 1 tie. So they don't have any wins.
With the tie.
But it's just, I mean,
even last year, it's like they were. It was looking like whoever was going to win that division was going to have like a barely winning record. It's just like,
and it's
the Washington football team. It's just no one can get wins there. The Eagles they're another one that came a couple of years ago, was on the top of the world.
And it's just so weird because they have talent there too. Like the Cowboys look good. I
feel like the Eagles' talent's not that different than what it was when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Other than Foles isn't there anymore.
Yeah, but he didn't carry them through that. I mean, what I mean is they were 13-3 or something in the regular season that year with Wentz, and they've still got him. I don't know. It's just still have the same coaching staff and everything.
Bengals Joe Burrow. Is he being effective?
I don't know. I haven't watched enough to really see. I know he got banged up in a big hit.
He got beat up pretty bad.
But hey, it's a tie. It's really interesting.
I think he's been okay, but it's just not. The Bengals aren't turning around really quickly. They need to do something to their line or bolster their line. They got stuff to do, but you don't expect anything coming out.
But a tie can be consequential, I think, especially in NFC East with the Eagles.
That's true.
You never know. I mean, if it's coming down to the wire, but with the win-loss record, if you've got a tie instead of a loss, or if you got a tie instead of a win, who knows? I mean, it can break one way or another.
This was kind of one of
duking it out with the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys just lost to the Seahawks, the 31-38 that we mentioned in the important scores, and they were mounting a comeback. This was going to be like their second week in a row where they mounted a big comeback just to topple over the Seahawks.
Impressive.
But then the Seahawks ended up winning that game. But it's just weird that entire conference. So
and the last head turner game of the week is Chiefs at Ravens, and this was a 14-point win for the Chiefs. What was that? 30. What was the 34-20?
Yeah, 34-20.
So you had Jackson and Mahomes.
Mahomes. Yeah.
Matching up, so it was a marquee matchup there. And
for sure.
What ended up happening? I mean, did you watch any of that game?
I didn't watch any of that game, but I'm pretty surprised that the Ravens didn't put up a little bit better of a fight. They probably got.
Right.
I mean, in the AFC, there's two teams with the best offenses.
They were supposed to win the AFC last year.
Yeah.
Remember, they got knocked out early in the playoffs.
Yeah.
By, I think, the Titans.
I mean, this is just, like you said, marquee matchup. I mean, these are two big hitters. And it's just surprising that the Ravens could only put up 20 and allowed 34. They're supposed to have one of the better defenses in the league. It's like the 49ers, and then who's next?
They actually,
like
even after that game, they still do have the best, one of the best defenses numerically, points allowed. But it just goes to show you how dominant their defense looked going into this, and it just didn't show up as much. Well, you're playing Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So I think it speaks more to just the dominance of him and how the Chiefs are putting themselves front runner position for the AFC.
He's always gunning for that MVP right there. Him and look out for Russell Wilson this year. Dude has 5.
He threw 5 and
touchdowns in the last 2 games and then 4 in the first game. Pretty wild. He's going for
it's looking good
career season.
Yeah, and there was a sneaky good team of the week. I think I snuck this in here. Because it was an interesting game. And there's been a lot of talk that I've heard about the Cardinals, and we were talking about this a lot. Are the Cardinals going to be good this year or not? It's really interesting. There's some inexperience, but also it's not total inexperience. Inexperience at the quarterback position. Talent, but, and now he's got the target with the
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, the receiver, Hopkins. And so Cardinals came off of 2 impressive wins to start the season, and they went against the Lions, who had 2 losses.
Yeah, they beat the 49ers in week 1, which was weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone was expecting that. And that conference, or I don't know why I keep saying conference. That division's a particularly tough one, the NFC West
absolutely.
Right now.
That's going to be the strong.
That looks like a tough one. It's got the 49ers, got the Rams, got the Seahawks. So that's going to be a tough division for Cardinals to do anything in. But they beat the 49ers, looking like they could probably pull it off. And they're playing a Lions team that had no wins. They got absolutely smacked by the Packers the week before, and then the Cardinals just fell asleep or something. It's hard for me to explain. I watched some of the game, but he threw I can't think of his name. Kyler Murray threw 3 interceptions against the Lions defense. I don't know.
Well, that's that inexperience that I go back to. I mean, just because you're talented doesn't mean you're not going to throw interceptions. And there's a fine line between being successful as a quarterback in the NFL. You can sling it. If you throw picks, you're going to lose games.
Yeah.
And so the Lions just came out and they were sneaky good.
Yeah.
Ended up picking up their first
I kind of want I don't know. I guess maybe it was getting the best of me, but I kind of want I like the Lions, but I kind of wanted to see the Cardinals do something because that's such a tough division. I think it would be cool to just see a bunch of big, strong teams duking it out. Kind of a little unfortunate for them. But
they'll have time, but that goes back to what I was saying about the consistency. Can the Cardinals have talent? It looks like they have a good defense actually now that I'm looking at the numbers. But can they be consistent with their results with wins and losses?
Yeah, that's a good point. Righty. Do you want to move right into what's coming up?
Yeah, what's coming up this week? What are our top 3 big matchups, Richard?
I think our top 3 most consequential games are. I'm going to say number 1, Steelers Titans. Both teams are 3-0 right now. A little bit of something wacky going on there with the Titans. They just.
That's right.
This is breaking news.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, this is going to be quick, but we'll maybe talk about it a little later. But Titans, 3 of their players and 5 of the staff tested positive for COVID-19, so they have a break. They have to take a break from practicing until at least Friday. They can only start practicing again on Saturday. So it sounds like they probably are still going to play this game if they can just figure out, who's potentially infected or whatever. But without having practice, it's going to cost them a little bit. But they're still 3-0, and I think that they still have enough talent that if the people that won't be a part of the game on Sunday aren't consequential players, it's still going to be a consequential game, in my opinion.
They're not going to release. Well, I guess they have to release who it is at some point. Did we get names?
I don't know, but they're also keeping an eye on Minnesota because they just played them last week or recently, and they want to make sure that everything's crystal clear on that.
So
I will say this: they did have 77 positive tests in the NFL before the start of the season, and then found out that all of those were false negative. They didn't have a single one.
That.
So maybe the Titans might be in a better position than they think they are. Number 2, Patriots at the Chiefs. This is another big AFC duke it out kind of thing.
Yep.
Mostly because the Patriots have been so dominant in the AFC. Is it East or North? AFC North.
Yep.
And so they need to basically say, hey, it's not Tom Brady that did all this. It's our coaching and our defense, and we have great talent in Cam Newton. So to be able to dethrone the Chiefs, who I don't think have lost a game yet, would be pretty consequential for them. Plus, the Bills right now are leading the division, so they kind of need to be able to stay step in step with them. You can't let the Bills take too much of a lead right now because they look pretty healthy as far as talent's concerned.
Right. This is definitely a Patriots prove-it game, and the Chiefs, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. But Cam has to grow into that game manager type role, and it match with what Belichick's trying to do. I think that they've looked okay so far.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to somebody.
Yeah, I can't think of it right now. But they only have one.
But it wasn't a horrible loss, and it was. I think it might have even been to the Seahawks.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So they didn't look too bad in that game either. So yeah they need to prove their stuff
against a guy that is having a career season. So yeah, it's okay that you have that one.
Sometimes you got these. You play these tough teams at the beginning of the season, and you come out with a bad record to start out with, but you're proven now, and you've fixed a lot of things that you otherwise wouldn't have looked at. And you come out roaring at the later part of the season.
That is a great transition to our third and final one, I think, personally. And that's going to be the Chargers and the Bucks that we're going to be looking at. Because, again, the Bucks, so the Bucks are 2-1, and the Chargers are 1-2 after 3 weeks of play. And the Bucks, they had that misstep against the Saints at the opening off in the season here.
The Saints aren't an easy team to beat.
No, by no means an easy team.
I don't think anyone would have said that the Bucks should have beat the Saints.
Yeah, but it was an opportunity to kind of feel out how they're going to play within the division.
Right.
Because the Saints are kind of the bellwether of the division. If you get beat outright by the Saints by 35 points, then obviously it's going to look pretty bad for you. But they held their own. I mean, they ended up losing that game, but I don't think it was like
And on the flip coin, if you could have beaten the Saints, you would have established yourself right away.
Exactly.
But now they lost. They've got to dig in and reestablish.
And they did. I think they did a good job in their last 2 games.
Their defense looks wildly good.
It's stacked, dude. They have so many talented players.
I thought it would be the other way with Brady and all the weapons. I thought the offense would look good, and immediately the defense would have to catch up. It's the other way around, in my opinion, for the Bucks.
Yeah, for sure. Not to say that the offense doesn't have immense talent, but they certainly stepped it up on that defensive side. And for the Chargers, they don't have Tyrod Taylor right now, so I can't think of his name. Justin Herbert is playing currently, and when he took over in the second game of the season, he did a really good job. They ended up winning that game, I think. But they just played the Carolina Panthers and ended up losing that game. So he's kind of in a weird, confusing spot where is he good, is he bad? You don't necessarily know. I think maybe he'll have to play one more game. Tyrod Taylor's got a punctured lung, but they're looking to bring him back. I think that you give the starting position to
with a punctured lung.
I have no idea, but he apparently
that guy's out there taking hits all the time. He's a running quarterback.
I don't know, man. I don't know what they did. Maybe there's something going on there, but
well, that'll be a good game.
It'll be a good game. If the Chargers
at the Bucks, right?
Yeah, it's at the Bucks. If the Chargers can do something here, I think that they can stand a good chance of duking it out for a good position within their division.
That's an open division, with the Broncos and the Raiders. So I just want to touch on some of the best defenses by the numbers and offenses. There's some close, but just talking about this, the Bucks have the best defense, it looks like, so far. Obviously, it depends on who you've played so far, but 3 games in, Bucks and then Cardinals and Bears also shortly behind them, and the NFC, that's in the NFC, and then the AFC, the Colts, Ravens, Steelers, Chargers. There's a couple other teams that look good as well, but those teams are heavy they haven't allowed any points. So I'm looking at the Colts especially going, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. And we already mentioned the Ravens so far. Like, if the Ravens can continue that kind of a defense, you're going to give yourself a shot. You might have a game where you stop the Chiefs every once in a while. So, and then with offenses, you're looking really in the NFC at the Seahawks and the Packers. Now, the Packers have been really good.
Explosive.
They've looked really good so far. And in the AFC, the Bills actually, and then the Ravens and the Chiefs, obviously, for obvious reasons. With the Ravens and the Chiefs.
Notably, the Bills have not won the division since the 1990s. So if they can pull it off this year, this will be the first time in over 2 decades.
And they're 3-0.
Yeah.
And New England is vulnerable. You could say. I mean, who knows? But
we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah. So let's go with this week's picks for NFL. We have a couple games.
Yeah. So we're gonna do 2 mutual picks for this. We conversed about this ahead of time, and then.
Yeah, these are picks straight from us, and we conspired to get the best picks.
Yeah. And right off the bat, we're gonna go that Steelers Titans game. I'm looking at our spread here, and it looks like we're picking the Steelers by 6. I think that's a safe bet, particularly regarding what we had just said. They're going to go
Titans.
Almost a full, half a week, or at least almost a full week without any meaningful practice potentially.
Yep.
The Steelers are looking to establish themselves in what is a really tough AFC division with the Ravens, and so they need. This is gonna, they're both these teams are 3-0, so they both need wins. But
it's a big AFC matchup, and the spread on this one from the books is Steelers advantage 1. So we're really picking in the Steelers advantage, in the Steelers' favor. But like you said, with this news just breaking about the Titans, maybe the bookies can change. So if you put your bets in quick.
Yeah. Slide them in there.
No, but I like that Steelers advantage. I mean, I think the Steelers are overlooked a lot.
Yeah.
Last year, they didn't have a complete squad. They didn't have Roethlisberger all season.
I think most of their players are healthy right now.
Yeah, so they've really gotten back together. So they look great right now, the Steelers, and this is an opportunity for them to take advantage of a Titans team that did really well last year. Other game we have is going to be that Chiefs-Patriots matchup. And what are we looking at here? I saw that the spread here was for the Chiefs to be an advantage by 7 points over the Patriots, which makes tons of sense.
Yeah, I mean, coming back to that whole, what you said about Cam Newton. Is he going to be able to keep up with the talent of Patrick Mahomes as far as points are concerned? Just being able to keep up with that. You look at this the way that they treated the Ravens and beat them by 14. Right. I think it's totally reasonable to have seen to see a spread that they're suggesting. So
right, and not to say anything about John Harbaugh
with
the Ravens, but the Patriots, do have Belichick, and he will game plan, and he'll do his best to hold it tight, but. Like you say, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and if you can't stop them early, it can get out.
I mean, they have Super Bowl back behind them too, so they're fighting for pride here.
So what's our pick here?
We're picking Chiefs over the Patriots by 8. So the spread was 7. We're picking by 8. We think that they can do a little bit better.
Go over, yeah. I don't know how you could pick under that spread.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, thanks for checking out our latest video. We're in full swing of season 2, so if you like this, then click the subscribe button to catch all of our latest content. And click over here to see some other videos, including the full episode. See you on the next one.